Comparing Godzilla Minus One versus the evolved Monsterverse Godzilla is akin to comparing an infantry fighting vehicle versus a main battle tank. That's the most apt metaphor I can bring to the table right now. Infantry fighting vehicles are well intentioned to fight infantry, meaning human soldiers, while the main battle tanks are meant to fight other armored vehicles. This is clearly the same case with the variants of the Big G. Godzilla Minus One, the infantry fighting vehicle, mainly battles the Japanese soldiers, while the Monsterverse Godzilla, a main battle tank, fights both the world's military and the other titans as well. Another thing that should be taken into consideration when comparing these two is the fact that one was created for a horror-themed movie, while the other one is made to be more of a benevolent creature in a superhero flick. One is a bad guy, while the other is a good guy, so it really depends on what you really like. Bad guys or good guys. Here in this video we will take a deep look at many different aspects of these two different variants of the Big G, the evolved Godzilla and the irradiated Minus One Gojira. So let's get to it. If we take a look at origins, we can see that both these two come from different places and timelines. Godzilla from the Monsterverse is an ancient superspecies of the Hollow Earth, which is located where the core of the Earth should be. He and many others are considered as titans for their immense size and power. This Godzilla has been maintaining a delicate balance in the surface world for many thousands of years, and at times also going down to the Hollow Earth to deal with threats. He exists in a world where there are many other monsters and titans which vie for dominance and territory. The world building in this franchise is extensive, with many different creatures also added in to be a part of the natural habitat and the food chain. So this Godzilla maintains a balance of the world, which in turn he becomes a de facto protector of the human race as well as the surface world. Godzilla Minus One, however, has a drastically different origin story. So he is a part of a species that exists in the Pacific Ocean and dwells in the oceanic depths. He is most probably an amphibious dinosaur-like creature that has survived the mass extinction events that killed off many others. This Gojira has become some sort of a myth as well amongst the Odo Island natives, which state that when he surfaces from beneath the waves, he brings along with him scores of deep-sea fish. In the movie, we see this Gojira being very territorial yet intelligent, and attacks the Japanese garrison in Odo Island since that place has always been a part of his territory. After the nuclear bombing testings of the US in 1946, he was exposed to immense radiation that mutated his DNA and caused him to grow to immense proportions, becoming like a kaiju, more than tripling his height and increasing his volume and mass by at least a magnitude. After this, he became more territorial, and due to his larger size, his territorial space also grew immensely, adding in the Japanese mainland islands as part of his domain. And so, coupled with his hatred for humanity, for the detonation of the nuclear bombs, and them being in his space, he in the end becomes an evil entity bent on destruction of humans within at least his territory, as he views them as a threat. So as you can see, there is a stark difference in their origin stories. One portrays a tragic tale of a wild animal that is affected by nukes and then becomes all the more hostile due to it. The other one, though, is an ancient creature that acts as a guardian of the natural order. So which one is better? Well, I would say Godzilla Minus One would suck at being a guardian, and the Monsterverse Godzilla would not really be terrifying anymore due to his benevolent nature. Two different peas from different pots. Evidently, Minus One Godzilla is better in his horror and evil aspects, while the Monsterverse Godzilla is better in protecting the Earth and fighting other titans. Now, let's take a look at their designs. That's one thing that can definitely be compared. In the blue corner, standing at 50.1 meters or 164 feet tall, we have Minus One Godzilla. So, he is a reptilian kaiju with rough, bumpy brown skin and a very long, thick tail. He has large four-toed feet with short black claws and golden yellowy eyes. Before his mutation, Godzilla resembles a large theropod dinosaur similar to a Tyrannosaurus rex, but with large dorsal plates on his back. During that pre-mutated state, he stood in a hunch-over bipedal posture with digitigrade legs, thus looking more like the 98 Zilla in posture. After mutating, Godzilla grew larger, now with greyish scaly skin and coupled with mottled pale brown burn scars. His body shape becomes something more like the Heisei incarnation from Godzilla vs. Biollante, with an erect posture, but with larger spiky and sharper dorsal plates. In the film's climax, Godzilla's skin turns white and tears apart due to the irradiation from within him, and his eyes bulge out due to the rapid decompression after being brought up from the depths of Sagami Bay in the Japanese attempt to kill him, which eventually succeeds. And now, in the other corner, standing at twice Godzilla Minus One's height, we have evolved Godzilla. So from Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, Godzilla initially appears in his well-known 2019 form or the design and standing 120 meters or 393 feet tall, maintaining his bulky build and normal colored dorsal plates when he was seen in Rome. This version of Godzilla also can emit blue nuclear energy throughout his body, crackling through his skins and eyes, reminiscent of his fiery Godzilla design from KOTM, and this blue form was after absorbing a massive amount of radiation from a French nuclear power plant. Later, after Godzilla undergoes a metamorphosis in Tiamat's lair, absorbing solar radiation which is amplified in that particular site, he undergoes rapid evolution, greatly altering his appearance. His dorsal plates become larger, more translucent and magenta in color, with visible veins running through them. His entire body becomes sharper and more jagged, resembling his 2014 design. His torso and upper legs appear slimmer, his arms become longer and more muscular, with a translucent magenta spike along the back of the forearm. His head features smaller spikes along the outline of the skull frame, and his tail ends in 4 Thagomizer blades. These changes make him resemble closely to the Godzilla design from the Millennium era. So before we go into conclusion, let's take a look at their powers as well. Godzilla Minus One's most deadly weapon is his atomic breath, of course. A blue ray of superheated atomic energy fired from his mouth. Before using the attack, Godzilla's dorsal fins emit a blue glow, and one by one, starting from the tip of the tail up his back, they emerge out. Now glowing blue ionized radiation then leak from his mouth, and his eyes and neck also glow blue. The fins then retract back suddenly and like a trigger into his body as he fires the heat ray. The beam creates a powerful explosion upon striking its target, generating shock waves that level anything around the blast. So this power inflicts injuries to his face and throat from the intense heat and radiation, requiring him to regenerate the damaged tissue before using the ability again. Godzilla first used his atomic breath to destroy a cruiser, then in Tokyo destroy most of the Ginza sector. His atomic breath is described as the strongest weapon on Earth, with an explosive yield exceeding that of the nuclear bomb used in the Trinity tests. He also has another ability, and that is his enhanced cellular regeneration, which allows him to survive from any injury, regenerating from any deadly wounds quickly and even regenerating from a piece of flesh after total annihilation. Now, the Monsterverse Godzilla's powers originates from a bionuclear circulatory system inside his body. This activates when threatened. A neutron flux is triggered that travels up Godzilla's dorsal fins to a nucleosynthetic chamber in his throat and explodes into his atomic breath. This radioactive signature move also makes it easy for Godzilla to be followed and monitored. In 2014 Godzilla, his atomic breath was more of like a focused, fiery-shaped energy beam that Godzilla spews out. In Godzilla Awakening and then in Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla's breath is far more intense and beam-like in appearance. In GvK, he could even drill to the hollow earth from the surface, and now in GxK his power output has been stated to have been increased by 20 times, with his atomic breath changing into a magenta color, and when he charges it, all his dorsal plates, spikes and eyes glow a magenta color, emitting magenta nuclear energy throughout his body, which might be more powerful. Just like Minus One though, he also has a very fast regeneration factor, although not nearly as quick as the other one. So in my personal opinion, if we look at the design, Godzilla Minus One indeed has a better and scarier look. That's obvious, and I'm pretty sure due to the fresh new look of his, many would prefer his body design over the Monsterverse one, which has been shown since 2014. It's not just because it is a new look though. As you can see with the case of Singular Point Godzilla, it didn't really get the same liking. In power and size though, the Monsterverse Godzilla is definitely stronger due to his range of powers and experience in Titan combat. So that's the comparison that we have for now. Anyway, that's what I think. If you like this video, then watch this other one as well. And if you want to browse for other monster content, then check out our channel. We might just have things you haven't seen before. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, fam.